Don't panic! Don't panic! Don't panic!
There have been lots of warnings of economic disaster if Britain votes to leave the EU. It's enough to make anyone panic. But just how bad might things be? We are often told that the health of the UK economy depends on our trading relationship with the EU. So, let's take a look at some numbers. In 2000, 55% of our exports went to EU countries, but today it's only 44%. That's down by a fifth in the last 15 years. And the EU's share of the world's GDP is falling too. In the 10 years up to 2013 it also shrank by more than a fifth. This isn't too surprising. Most of the world's population doesn't live in the EU, and the percentage that does is falling. At the moment it's about 6%, and the UN forecasts this will fall to 5% over the next 20 years. The other factor reducing the EU's trading relevance for the UK is its poor economic performance. Over the last 15 years, the UK has outperformed the other major EU economies, growing 1.5 times as much as Germany and France, while Italy's economy actually shrank. People in the EU are facing high unemployment. The rate in the Eurozone is double that in the UK, and Spain and Greece have levels 4 times ours. Youth unemployment is also a big problem. It's clear that the EU economy, and particularly the Eurozone with its one-size-fits-all model, is in trouble, despite the much talked about benefits of the European single market. UK growth has obviously not been based on a European boom. So, there are good common sense reasons to take predictions of doom after Brexit with a large dose of salt. But what does the Treasury actually forecast? Is it as bad as all the spin has implied? Let's take a look at the Treasury growth forecasts for the next 15 years, assuming things turn out as bad as they tell us they will. Here's the size of the economy now. If we stay in the EU, the Treasury reckons it will grow by 37% over the next 15 years. If we leave, the Treasury predicts it will be about 6% smaller in 2030. This doesn't mean we'll be worse off than we are now. The economy will still have grown by 29%. It just won't have grown by quite as much as it would if we stay in, assuming the EU economies drag themselves out of the mess they're in. The government says that the bit of growth we might lose out on will amount to £4,300 per household by 2030. But on the same basis, the growth they are forecasting even if we leave, will make us all better off by £14,300 per household. Doesn't sound like a major disaster. Before you decide, let's compare the forecast for the next 15 years if we leave, with what happened over the last 15. Yes, we do just as well as we did, and 1.5 times better than France and Germany did. Doesn't sound like a disaster. So, it's true the EU is a major market, but it's a small part of the world, and its importance is in decline. As the world's 5th biggest economy, we need to look beyond the EU, if we want to keep on growing. If you believe the government's own figures, and many think they are pessimistic, then if we leave, our economy will grow much faster over the next 15 years than the EU has managed so far this century, and we will all be richer, not poorer. There is no need to be afraid, so, don't panic, keep calm and Brexit.